All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Board of Supervisors meeting for June. Township meeting is called to order at 6:36. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I am going to turn this over to Kevin Kissling. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything first, Craig, or just have Kevin come up and explain.
Kevin, you want to come up? You're not here.
Okay.
All right. The Kissling family has received a limited edition Declaration of Independence that they received. They provided to Tom Blumstrom. Tom is under the weather, so could not make it here. But they donated it to the township. It's number 77 of 250 that they made for this year. Wow. So that's the reproduction of the Declaration of Independence. And then this is kind of the explanation of what it is. And it goes into the story of the Declaration of Independence, where it was printed, and the story of the Declaration of Independence and how he made the first 200 Dunlap broadsides, which was 4 blocks from Independence Hall. And this just shows that it's the America 250th, and on here it shows that it's number 77 of 250. So the Kissling family donated this to the township. We will be putting it in the hallway tomorrow or this week, and just want to thank the Kissling family.
Wow, that's amazing.
Get a picture with Kevin.
Yes, absolutely. What a generous donation from the Kissling family. Our heartfelt thanks go out to them. That's wonderful.
It was really, really nice, really cool. And
It's
he
really-
thought it would be better at the township building than in his house. So that was very nice of him.
And how special for the 250th.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Schwartz from Barren Hill, who's going to talk about the Montgomery County Fire Chiefs Association 250 Strong.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Toll, members of the Board of Supervisors, Township staff, and our White Marsh Township community. As many of you know, I'm Chris Schwartz, Fire Chief of the Barren Hill Volunteer Fire Company. Tonight, however, I'm here not representing just Barren Hill, but also as President of the Montgomery County Fire Chiefs Association, representing more than 80 fire companies serving Montgomery County to share our 250 Strong Save and Serve initiative. As our nation continues its preparation and celebration of the 250th anniversary of the United States, we are reminded of the values this country is built on: dedication, service, and sacrifice. These same values are at the heart of the fire service. The Montgomery County Fire Chiefs Association is honoring our country's 250th anniversary in a life-saving way with our 250 Strong Save and Serve initiative. This initiative is a testament to the Montgomery County Fire Service's commitment to recruiting 250 new volunteer firefighters to serve our communities by 2027. As you are aware, the number of volunteer firefighters serving the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has drastically dwindled in the last several decades, with many areas nearing crisis levels. Locally, I'm confident that we have not reached a crisis point for volunteers just yet. In fact, I'm proud to announce that we at the Barren Hill Fire Company have 6 members graduating from the Firefighter 1 program this month. Despite the volunteer numbers remaining stable in White Marsh, we must remain vigilant and active recruiting, continuing to be visionaries for the future. The Fire Chiefs Association will use the awards from a 4-year, multi-million-dollar FEMA Safer Recruitment and Retention Grant to positively impact the recruitment momentum in Montgomery County. The benefits of this initiative and grant funding are exceptional for new volunteers. Free gear, free training, and a free family-like association for life. That's what you get from a volunteer fire company. Representing the fire service leaders in Montgomery County, I'm confident that our companies will rise to the challenge to ensure that the spirit of volunteerism and the backbone of our communities, which is the volunteer fire service, will remain strong for the next 250 years. On behalf of the Montgomery County Fire Chiefs Association and the fire service in Whitemarsh, thank you for your continued support and allowing us to be partners in service. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Schwartz, and thank you for all you and Barren Hill do for the township. We know how fortunate we are to have as many volunteers as we do when other municipalities are suffering around the county. And, you know, that's what you described in terms of what they get from joining. I know from talking to you and other firefighters, the gear alone is an extremely expensive item.
Tremendous.
So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, as we know, June is Pride Month, and I want to read a proclamation. Our flag is up outside. Whereas June marks the annual observance of Pride Month, a time to celebrate and honor the invaluable contributions, resilience, and rich diversity of the LGBTQIA+ community. And whereas this nation and Whitemarsh community are strengthened by diversity, and all individuals should feel valued, safe, empowered, and supported by their peers, educators, and leaders. And whereas Whitemarsh Township acknowledges the historical milestones achieved by the LGBTQIA+ community in the ongoing pursuit of equal rights, social justice, and acceptance for all. And whereas, despite progress, we recognize the ongoing struggles against prejudice and discrimination, reaffirming our commitment to defending the civil rights, dignity, and humanity of all people. And whereas Whitemarsh Township is deeply committed to treating all people fairly, equally, and with respect, ensuring love and diversity are celebrated. Now, therefore, we, the Whitemarsh Township Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim the month of June as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month in Whitemarsh Township and urge all residents to join in celebrating our diverse community, promoting inclusivity, and advancing the principles of equality for all. And this is resolved June 11th, 2026. Anybody else have any? So thank you. I am going to move down. Before I hand it over to Beth Moy for announcements, I just have one sad announcement. On June 4th, our former executive assistant, Sue McCloskey, lost her battle with cancer. Sue was a dedicated community servant and had recently retired from the township. In her time away from the office, she enjoyed painting, reading, and the Phillies, and quiet time at home with her family. Family was Sue's #1 priority, and let everyone know that being together, sharing a laugh, and enjoying the company of the people you love is the best way to live life. The township offers condolences to Susan's family and friends. And our thoughts and prayers are with all of them. I'm going to turn it over to Beth Moy for the announcements.
Good evening, everyone. Registration for all categories to participate in the 4th of July parade is open until June 26, 2026 on the Township website. Registration is also open for the history lecture at Abolition Hall in Whitemarsh Township this Friday, June 19th, 2026. The event is from 11 to 2 with local historian Jim Seagrave Daly providing information on the forgotten patriots, Blacks and Native Americans in the Revolutionary War. Please remember to check out the Township website for a list of activities locally, county, and statewide, and nationally for America 250 events. This Sunday, June 21st, is Father's Day. The Board of Supervisors hope that all the dads have a great, happy Father's Day. The Whitemarsh Board of Supervisors would also like to send well wishes and congratulations to all who graduated this year from college, high school, grade school, middle school, and kindergarten. Best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thanks, Beth. I'm going to go down to the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 14th, 2026?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any board comment? Is there any public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll abstain. I was not at the meeting.
Thank you. All right. We are down to SLD 04-24, Land Development Waiver Request for Universal Health Services for Brooke Glen Hospital, 7170 Lafayette Avenue, Fort Washington, for a flood mitigation project. And I'm going to turn it over to Charlie. Good plan.
Thank you. As you indicated, this is a land development waiver. This is for flood proofing, flood prevention structures at the Brooke Glen Behavioral Hospital. It suffers flooding from the Sandy Run and has been, this process has been going on for a little while. This was first in front of the Planning Commission actually in December of 2024, at which time the Planning Commission recommended approval of the land development waiver. It then needed to secure certain variances from, ironically, the floodplain and riparian corridor conservation districts, which it applied for last fall, and because of some scheduling issues, didn't get heard until February of this year and didn't get approved until March of this year. So we're now in the final step of hopefully getting approval for this board, and there's a short PowerPoint. There's a remote. I'll bring up the PowerPoint. This is James Barbas, the engineer for the project.
Welcome.
Good evening. All right. And assuming it will.
Somebody's got a projector.
Yeah, there we go. Right. As was mentioned, this is for floodproofing and flood mitigation for the Brooke Glen Behavioral Hospital at 7170 Lafayette Avenue. There we go. There's the location. It's on the banks of Sandy Run, across the street from Germantown Academy, essentially. It's also, we've got a next slide. Here's the floodplain map, which was recently revised. That was part of this project. We reviewed the floodplain, FEMA floodplain maps, realized that some revisions were needed for the existing conditions just to represent the conditions there. So we went through the FEMA LOMAR process, layer of map revision process, reset the floodplain maps, and that's what you're seeing on the screen here. Wissahickon Creek is in that red stripe line, and then Sandy Run is just below. If we zoom in, really what the purpose of this project is to put a, we're going to kind of wrap the building or wrap the site with a combination of a flood wall, a freestanding flood wall, and then the brick facade with a flood-proof kind of facade, just to prevent water from intruding into the building. In past floods, water did come into the building, flooded residents' rooms on the lower floors. And so that's what this project is really meant to do. The blue highlighted area, that's the 100-year floodplain. The orange is the 500-year. So this will actually provide protection above the 500-year when all said and done. Here's some just pictures. This is looking out from Lafayette Avenue towards the building on the front. So on this side, there'll be a facade going underneath the windows. So everything will stay below the windows. So kind of at a constant elevation. The windows are all kind of at the same elevation if you use that as a reference point. But it'll kind of come across the front, wrap around the side of the building, the right side of the building there. Once again, this is actually outside of the 500-year floodplain. but just providing any water that does get there, water from kind of seeping through the brick facade, which has happened in the past. This is as you go around the right, and then you see the fence line there. So the wall will continue under the windows and then run on the outside of the fence. There'll be 2 gates, flood-proof gates that run along there, so to provide current ingress and egress will still be provided. All the walls will have kind of a max elevation of 6 feet within, current codes. So nothing, so it won't go all the way up. That fence will remain. We're actually building it on the outside, so it'll be on the outside of it. Wrap around, but you can kind of see the dip, so that's where the wall will be at relatively the same height, but it'll get taller. This is at that back corner where it starts to bend. This is where really it's providing that because we can't remove the fence, we're going to be on the outside. That courtyard will remain, dry essentially. We'll have drainage provided, so any water that does fall on the inside can pass through to the outside. And then just wrap around the backside of, this is kind of where we'll stay outside that pole and tie into the building. This is where it'll be, once again, transition from a freestanding wall to a facade, a waterproof facade. This is on the far side, so we've wrapped all the way around the building. In here, that's their chiller and air conditioning. Will be just on the outside of that, so this fence will be removed, and we'll go just the inside of that. The idea of that is their electrical. We want to stay as far away from that as possible. And then this is looking back towards it, kind of staying right on outside of the walking path. There'll be a gate in the flood wall right where that path is to allow ingress. And then this is the far side. This will actually look very similar to as it does now. It'll actually be temporary, so flood barriers that can be removed and only installed. This is all actually above the 500 years, so they have seen water up this high, so that's why it's providing protection all the way through, but because of the parking lot and everything else, this is just a temporary setup. So we'll just put a concrete foundation in to provide a good contact for that temporary flood barrier. So this is just an overview of what I just described. The blue is kind of the wall, that flood-proofing wall with the footer along the existing building. The red is a freestanding wall. And then the green is going to be a temporary flood barrier that we can be removed as needed. If you look here, let's see if I can, I don't know if I have a pointer. There, basically it does show the 100 and 500 year. That darker line is the 500 year. The line just below it, kind of gray dashed, is the 100 year. So it will provide significant flood protection for the residents in the building. And that's the presentation. I wanted to keep it short and sweet for everyone today.
Thank you. Is there any board comment or questions?
Question, will there be landscaping around the portions of the wall that are visible from the roadways?
Not anything more than is there now. So if we go back to, the wall is going to have a facade on it, so it's going to have kind of a brick facade on it. It won't be a concrete wall. But if we go back to, the only part that is really visible from the roadway is this side the side right here to the front. So it's going to look very similar to how it does now with the brick facade just being flood-proofed. So it's going to be on the outside. So we're still working out that detail, but Glen doesn't want kind of just a concrete wall. They want something a little more architectural in its look. And then the freestanding wall kind of being something similar brick with maybe a capstone on top.
So those windows would be visible after the wall's in place?
Yeah, the top of the wall will go right underneath the wall. So if you see
So the sill plate of the wall is 6 feet off the ground?
no, that will be much less than max 6 feet. So the 6 feet is down at the far corner.
Okay.
So in that area, it's going to be a couple feet high.
So the wall will not be taller than the sill plate of the windows?
No, the windows the top of the wall all the way around will be at the bottom of the windows.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Any public comment? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to consider Resolution 2026-09 for a land development waiver request for Universal Health Services for Brooke Glen Hospital located at 7170 Lafayette Avenue, Fort Washington, for a flood mitigation project?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. McAnally, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Gurvancelli?
Yes.
Ms. Tureen?
Yes.
Mr. Manuel?
Yes.
Ms. Moy?
Yes.
Chair Toll?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution carries. Thank you very much.
Good luck, stay dry.
Yes, good luck. Do I have a motion to authorize the appropriation of funds to the Barren Hill Fire Company from the Fire Company Capital Reserve Fund to offset costs for a 2026 Sutphen, is that how you say it? Sutphen Tower Ladder as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. McAnally?
Yes, at the last ESB meeting on May 20th, 2026, Chief Chris Schwartz, who was in attendance tonight, requested a disbursement of the funds for the portion of the Fire Company Capital Reserve Fund account in order to supplement the purchase of a new 2026 ladder truck. Total cost of the truck is $1.8 million and some change. And the total amount allocated to Barren Hill Fire Company as of April 30th in the account was $429,737.48. If authorized by this board, the township will prepare a check payable to Sutphen Corporation through the Barren Hill Fire Company by September 1st, 2026.
Thank you. Are there any board comments or questions? Chief Schwartz is here. Any public comment? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Does the board accept the minutes/summary from the joint meeting with the Board and Planning Commission on Tuesday, May 19th for the tour of Eagleview in Exton? There is no motion needed for this, and since I was the only supervisor that was in attendance, I will agree that we can accept the minutes. It was a very nice tour. They did a great job showing us around and answering all of our questions, and we had a really nice attendance from the Planning Commission as well, and Charlie was there, Krista was there, Craig was there. It was good. It was very good. We appreciate it. Do I have a motion to authorize acceptance and execution of an agreement of sale to the highest bidder, Brian Corr, for the sale of 14 Marple Lane in the amount of $226,500?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. McAnally.
Yes, on June 2nd, we opened bids, and we only had one bid, unfortunately. The highest responsible bidder was Brian Corr, and the offer was $226,500 to purchase the property at 14 Marple Lane that we've been trying to get rid of. If it is recommended by the board, to accept the bid and authorize the execution of the agreement of sale to Brian Corr in the amount of $226,500 for the sale of 14 Marple Lane. We would go into an agreement of sale, and we would, within 30 days, I think the contract says, and then they have another 30 days to make settlement. So look about 60 days out from today, or, well, if the board accepts it.
That's great. Thank you. Is there any board comment? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So the motion to authorize the execution of an easement agreement with property owners at 110 Cedar Grove Road in Conshohocken for a portion of a parking lot on their property for the Wells Street Trailhead project is tabled for this meeting. Do I have a motion to consider the request to rename Lafayette Avenue Connector to Academy Drive by providing a letter of support to PennDOT per request of Germantown Academy?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. McAnally.
Yes, I have received a call from Germantown Academy. One of their classes, class of 1976, has asked to rename the Lafayette Corridor or Lafayette Avenue Connector to Academy Drive to honor Germantown Academy's history, contribution, and presence in White Marsh Township. The main idea is that there's no residential or commercial addresses on that road, so emergency services, there won't be any changes to emergency services in case someone had a call for an ambulance or police or fire. There's no addresses on that corridor, so that was our main concern, and we confirmed there is none. So it is a PennDOT road. PennDOT needs a letter of support from the local jurisdiction, which is us, and we can submit that letter to PennDOT if the board seems fit.
Thank you, Craig. Is there any board comment?
Craig, do you know, does the county also have to provide a letter of support, or just the municipality?
Just a local municipality at this point.
Any public comment? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the settlement of an assessment appeal for tax parcel 65-00-09967-30-9?
So moved.
Second.
Dave Sander, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is, I think Craig has the exact numbers handy. This was a assessment appeal that the board sees occasionally. Resident or property owner in the township appealed the assessment. The school district, which has the most to gain or lose from an appeal, negotiated with the applicant, with the appellant, and the numbers are as follows. The board would be required to refund the property owner a total of $11,034.37 for tax years 2024 through 2026, and future taxes will be reduced by $5,385.25 per year. Again, a settlement that the school district struck with the appellant, and our office has advised a recommendation to the board to accept that so that we don't suffer any worse fate in litigation.
Thank you, Dave. Is there any board comment? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to waive the permit fees for Highlands Mansion and Gardens in the amount of $1,683.50 for a renovation project at 7001 Sheaff Lane, Fort Washington?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. McAnally.
Yes, Highlands is doing renovations at their property and have asked for a waiver of the permit fees as they are a 501c3. And if the board wishes to, we can waive those fees and we will process the permits accordingly and let them do their projects and save them a little bit of money.
Is there any board comment?
Is this a renovation to the main building?
Yes.
Is there any other board comment? Any public comment? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to accept the resignation of Victor Lowe from the Environmental Advisory Board?
So moved. Second.
So we thank Mr. Lowe for his service. We really appreciate it. Unfortunately, has moved out of the township, and so he can no longer serve on that board. Just a reminder to the public, we have a process to apply to be on our boards and commissions through our website, and we always encourage folks to do that so that when spots come up, we can review those and make some choices on folks to put on those boards and commissions. So, thank you. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the financials for May 2026 for the following amounts? Expenditures in the amount of $1,388,682.44, and payroll in the amount of $791,959.55.
So moved.
Second.
Any board comment or questions? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, it has now come to public comment period. Is there any public comment? Come on up.
Hi, everybody. My name is Claire. I live in Ashley in Lafayette Hill. I have been a resident here for 5 years. Since I've moved here, I've had some issues with zoning. I have talked to Charlie prior to me coming here today, as well as Bob. Bob came out the week of April 28th. I had some concerns. So he came out and I gave him some areas of zoning issues that we are landlocked. First of all, I think my primary concern involves safety and fire hazard. We are landlocked from the Lafayette Green condominium, as well as the fences along Ash Lane. So I have addressed it. I have emailed since May 3rd, and I haven't heard anything. So, a couple things. 2152 fence opening is not wide enough for my lawnmower guy to come through. 2144 does not have fence opening either side. Lafayette Green condominium on the property, the fence along our property on Ash is right on our property line. That we're not able to put a fence around the back of our backyard. I have addressed this numerous times and no response.
So, question, do you have a homeowners association?
Do not.
You do not, okay. And have you spoken at all to the Lafayette condominium organization?
I have not. This week was the first time I was given the head of the Lafayette Hill Green Condominium Association person to address the fence.
Okay. Charlie?
It's a very complicated situation. We've had issues in this development for as long as I'm aware. Because there is no HOA, there is a requirement that there be a 3-foot space essentially between the condominium fence and any fences that the individuals place in their backyard. Or alternatively, if the fences go all the way to the back, that there be 2 3-foot gates on either side that are never locked so people can go through from one to the other. It has not been consistently adhered to. We periodically have sent out letters to every homeowner on Ash and Birch Drive. People have done everything. Certain people have done what they're supposed to. Other people have put gates in different places, and you can sometimes get from one backyard to the next, but you can't get out. The two properties that Claire mentioned, 2144 actually has a 3-foot strip behind it, but because of what people have done on either side, you can't get from there to any place else. 2152, we had no contact information except a telephone number with a voicemail box that was full, so I've sent a letter to them. I have not received a response yet. I just sent it yesterday. It's a very difficult situation because I would say the majority of people would have to change their fences or move them around or bring them in to get the 3-foot corridor in the back. We try and enforce it as much as we can, but it's just been very difficult. And it's been a problem for as long as I know, and as I say, Bob and I have sent out letters to every property owner every several years. We get a few more compliances, and then we get other complaints because not everybody complies, and other than us going out repeatedly, there is no enforcement because there is no HOA. So we do the best we can, but it's a difficult situation.
Thank you, Charlie. You'll let her know once, if you receive information back from your letter?
Yes.
Thank you. Any board comment?
Well, I would just encourage our township staff to try to work with the homeowner to come up with an interim solution, because you're obviously saying there's a real compliance issue across the board. We're having difficulty getting them to comply, but in the meantime, is it that you can't get your grass mowed? That's...
I cannot have my lawn guy come through the back.
Yeah.
Because narrow opening of 2150.
Yeah.
As well as I am very concerned about the condominium with a big white fence right on my property. And then I am landlocked both ways. If there is a fire and I have to escape through the back, that's dangerous to me. My neighbors have also expressed the concern. None of them are here with me today, but I'm sure they will next month. But I just want to be heard and this to be resolved. And I've been here for 5 years. I feel like I've been coming here. I received one letter regarding about proper way to put up your fence. If it's a new fence, you have to go through a zoning paperwork. If it's an existing fence, you don't need to go through that process. So I've gotten that notification, but I haven't gotten any kind of notification regarding about proper protocol for safety for our backyard.
Charlie, if there's violations and they don't respond to your letter, what's the next step in the enforcement?
They go to the district justice or we take them to the court. But we would have to probably violate, I would say, 3/4 of the entire development.
So we can't issue citation. We can't issue the citations, or is that?
And we'd have to inspect each one before, and the difficulty is we can't get there either, and we can't trespass, so we have to get permission from everybody to go look at their backyard.
Okay.
Walk through their house to get to their backyard to see it, to see what's done. Every time we issue a permit for a fence, it's very specific as to how it's supposed to be installed, but it's not always installed per permit. And it's difficult to go back and inspect because we can't get there.
But if you can inspect by access to adjacent properties, and granted, you may not be able to get access to every property,
I
but...
let Bob in today through my house, and he was able to see the access of all the fences and the landlocked on Ashley.
Yeah, so you should be able to see enough without getting access to every single property by doing it that way.
We can see if we do something like what Bob did, we can see a row, but there are many rows of homes in this development, so we would have to get access to at least one or two houses in each row to go out back and look at it.
Mm-hmm. Have we tried to do that?
We have not tried to do it.
Can we?
We can. It's going to take a lot of staff time.
I think it's worth doing.
If there's violations, it's our responsibility to correct it.
Okay.
Any other board comment? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment today? Any other board comment? All right, I need to let you know that the board had executive session tonight on real estate matters. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Good night, White Marsh. Thank you.